everyone, welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'm taking you on a journey to the museum. So I visited the London Museum recently and I feel like I should carry you guys along. So first off, to access the museum, depending on where you're coming from, the closest station to the museum is actually Barbican Station. So the London Museum is located close to St. Paul's Cathedral in central London. So I'm just going to take you guys along and then let's see what we found in the museum. But just to give you an advanced warning, some part of the video is not really clear because I had issues with my camera trying to focus. But I think eventually it eased out and we had a fantastic video. I had a fantastic experience and I hope you find it as exciting as I did, because it was really exciting for me. So I'm hoping as you watch this video, you also experience the kind of excitement I experienced while visiting the museum. So let's go. When you get into the museum, the museum is divided into different sessions. So you have the first session, which is the London before London. Now, the London before London actually explores the rich lives of the people living in the Lower Thames Valley from around 450,000 BC until around 5 AD 50. Yeah, so this basically is London before what we know as London. It's the historic London archaeology, era. So here we're going to be showing you the stones, showing you the landscape, what was seen or what they had in this era. Okay. Another thing I found really fascinating was the London's prehistoric landscape, which is similar to what we have today as the Central African Plain. Now there was this skull that we just captured like few seconds ago. Let me see if I'm going to capture it again. That skull is actually the skull of what is known as the Neolithic Londoner, and this skull was found in the Thames foreshore at around 3600, that's 3600 BC. This is the top part of a human skull, probably from a man aged over 18. We don't know how he died, what happened, and what happened to the rest of the skeleton. The bone was found by a mud larker. Now, who's a mud larker? A mud larker is someone who searches the Thames foreshore at low tide, so it's pretty much an occupation. Mud larking is quite a specialist occupation, and a license is required to search the river in this way. So since this is a piece of human bone, it was taken to the Metropolitan Police, who had it radiocarboned and dated to find how old it was. This is the oldest human ever to have been found by a Thames mudlarker. And then the skull was retrieved and now brought to the museum for everyone to see. It was really interesting for me to be in the museum because there was so much information. If you want to date back to the history of Britain, you need to visit the museum. And then scattered all around London, there are several museums, several museums. And subsequently, I hope to visit these museums and also carry you guys along. So it's not just for entertainment, but it's quite educative. So if you're someone who is interested in history, or someone who is even living in UK, it might make sense for you to have at least some backstory or some history, of the place where you're living in. The London Museum is open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Sunday, and it is absolutely free. All you need to do is buy your ticket online. So you need to buy a ticket online, but it's free. Free. If you live in London or you plan to visit London, please make sure that you visit this museum. skeleton of what is known as the Shepperton woman. In 1989, archaeologists working at a gravel pit site in Shepperton discovered a ring ditch and back or henge measuring 22 meters in diameter, alright, and dating from about 3500 BC. Its exact use is unknown, but clearly was a center for ritual activities as two bodies were found buried in the ditch. One of them was a complete skeleton of a woman found in a crouched position, and that skeleton of that woman is today what is known as the Shepperton woman. So specialists in constructing facial features from skeletal remains have been able to produce a model of what they think her head would have looked like, a cast of which is on view at the London Museum. Analysis of article reveals that she has been brought up in an area where lead was present, perhaps the Mendips or Derbyshire. So that's the picture of her face that has been reconstructed. Buried beside her was the skull of a wolf, or possibly a very early domesticated dog, which perhaps had some connection with the woman. So here again we have part of the skull of the Neolithic Londoner. Earlier, we had talked at length about the Neolithic Londoner, how his skull, how his remains was found by a mud lacquer in the Thames region. So, to know more, you can just check online. If you're interested, you can check online and then get more information concerning this Neolithic Londoner. I know some of you will say, oh, this thing was gotten from Africa. I don't know. I don't know about it, but it's called the wood magic. So I'm not going to talk much about that. You can visit the museum in London to get more information about what they call the wood magic. Let's just keep watching. So here we have the different skulls that were found at one point or the other. We have the different, I think now we're getting close to the Roman age. Right, this is one of the things I found really amusing and interesting in the museum. So this dates back to the early age, to the Roman age. So this picture you see here is a picture of what their houses used to look like. So you can see typically their houses like what we have in Africa, if you go to some interior parts of Africa, the kind of houses that people are still living in when you go to the interior. So you can see their houses are made from cane and what's it called now? Mud. So they use canes or wood, stick and mud to build their houses. So going forward, I'm going to show you something much more interesting. Okay, so here they used to cook, on fire, cook in, what's it called now? Cook with stones, cook in open fire. So they started off pretty much from the, what we call like village. Now this is what the kind of clay pot they have. So this was not gotten from Africa really. This is what they were using back in the days. So you have the clay pot, you have the clay plates that they use to eat. Let's keep going. You see things that are really, really, really interesting. So here is another skeleton, right? Okay, so now this is something really interesting. So this is what we call the glass bead. The glass bead. You can see what you guys call the blue eye. All of you that Jeremiah sells things to, you know, and they tell you to come and pay 150,000. It's what they call it. They say it's favor. It brings favor, whatever it is. You can see now that this thing was found in nature. They are called glass beads. There's nothing spectacular about it, nothing favor giving about it, from my own understanding. All right. So now gradually we got into the Iron Age, to the Roman Age, where all of the wars and everything happened. We've gotten there. So this is still the glass beads coming up. What you guys call the blue eyes or the charm eyes or whatever, they're just plain glass beads. That is amazing to actually find it in the museum. So this now is the Roman time. So you can see the Romans and the river. So over here, crossing the River Thames was an important part of the Roman invasion of Britain. So if you, as someone who is into history, you will know that there was a time that the Romans actually invaded Britain. So that's what we call the Roman era. And the Roman, which is also known as the Roman London, and that was from AD 37 to C 410. Roman London, also known as Londinium, was the capital of Roman Britain during most of the period of the Roman rule. So it was originally a settlement established on the current site of the city of London. Now this is an interactive slide. We have lots of interactive slides in the museum. So when you click on it, it tells you, when you click on any of those objects or any of the places, it gives you more information about the object, more information about things that happened at that era or during that era. So this is when one of my crew members came in and put many fault for me. So this is what we have, the Roman gold coin. So I don't know if you've heard of the Roman gold coin. This is what it looks like. And here we have the donkey mill. So I'm going to talk a little more about this donkey mill. So this donkey mill basically was what was used like as their grinding machine. So a donkey or mule or horse walked round the mill, turning the top stone and grinding the grain between the two stones. Although these mills were rarely found in Britain, they are common throughout the famous or throughout the former Roman Empire. So now we're looking at the kitchen. What used to be the kitchen of those days, what their kitchen used to look like. You can see how dirty and how kept it was. Now when you're looking at London now, we tend to forget history. We tend to forget that, oh, they were coming from somewhere. So things used to, they actually evolved from this to what we have now. So you can see the kind of pots that was used. The clay pot, you can see what their oven used to look like. You can see it's amazing to see that most of these things are still being kept. You know, over the years, thousands of years ago, these things were being used, and yet they found a way to, you know, keep them. So it's a way of preserving their history, preserving their culture, preserving where they came from. So you, as a Briton, you have your child, you bring your child from when they're tender, you bring them to the museum, you tell them the history about where they're from, so they can see they didn't just fall from the sky. They can see, you know, things were not like this hundreds or thousands of years before. So it's really exciting. It was really exciting for me to see it, so I can imagine what it would be like for a child to actually see and know the kind of history they had back then. This is like their country now, where you can see the fishes and all. Now this is interesting as a woman. So this was their beauty, like the makeup studio for the Roman, you know, in the Roman Empire, the Queen and co. You can see their makeup brushes, the kind of, you know, stuff they use, their jewelry, and you can see now this is their living room. You can see the kind of decoration or the kind of furniture they had back in the days. Okay. So basically that's it in this episode of the video. Thanks for watching. The video was pretty much long, so I just figured out it's better I divide it into two. So I'm going to bring up an episode 2 where we told the remaining part of the museum. Trust me, I had fun. The museum is really big, it's huge. It took us hours to actually, you know, go around the different parts of the museum. I hope you enjoyed these videos as much as I did. Sit back and I'll try and upload the part 2 as soon as I can. Thank you very much for coming back to the channel. Please try, if you enjoyed the content, please don't forget to subscribe, to like and to share. Thank you.